Now the applied aspects, hyperreactivity and hypoactivity. Now Cushing's syndrome is very important for you people because the things we just discussed, that is the functions of the cortisol, may come as a very small short note or they may not come. But these functions are important so that you can apply these functions by the features will be produced in the Cushing syndrome. Cushing syndrome is very important for you people. It is usually asked in the exams. So Cushing syndrome is mainly a state in which the cortisol is in excess amount. So all the functions that are caused by cortisol will occur and hence they will result in the production of the specific clinical features which occur because of this cortisol excess. Now this Cushing syndrome is of two types, ACTH dependent and ACTH independent. So when we talk about ACTH dependent, it means that the excess of cortisol is occurring because there is excess synthesis of adrenocorticotropic hormone from the anterior pituitary. So this will occur if there is a tumor of the pituitary. This is known as Cushing's disease. Ectopic ACTH production, like in bronchogenic carcinoma, hypothalamo-pituitary dysfunction, which will result in excess of corticotropin releasing hormone, or excess of ACTH therapy, that is iatrogenic, if the doctor gives an excess of ACTH therapy. So doctor induced ACTH dependent Cushing syndrome can occur. Then ACTH independent, it means that anterior pituitary is producing a normal amount of ACTH, but the excess of cortisol is not because of this excess of ACTH. It is occurring because the adrenal cortex is producing an excess amount of cortisol because of a defect in the adrenal cortex itself. So either it can be due to adrenal adenoma, or there can be an adrenal carcinoma, adrenal macronodular hyperplasia, or again if there is excess cortisol therapy, that is iatrogenic. So if the doctor gives excess amount of steroids to a patient. So all these things will result in ACTH independent type of Cushing syndrome. Now these are the features of the Cushing's disease or the Cushing syndrome. These are very important and these are based on the functions we just discussed. So as we know that cortisol increases glucose, so it will result in hyperglycemia. Then there will be personality changes because we just read that the function of cortisol is either to cause a mood elevation or mood depression. So it can cause anything. So again, this will result in personality change. Then there will be red face because it causes polycythemia. That is, it increases the RBC count. So this will result in reddening of the face. CNS irritability will occur because of its effect on the CNS. Then fat round moon face. Again, we had read that it causes maldistribution of the fat and there is more fat deposition on the face. So it causes a moon face. Then it causes increased susceptibility to infection because the function of cortisol was anti-inflammatory. So it was decreasing the lymphocytes, eosinophils and basophils. So again, the susceptibility to infection is increased. In males, it causes gynecomastia. Then there is fluid retention or edema because it will cause a decreased protein synthesis by the liver. So this will result in edema. Then extremities will become thin because it causes proteolysis, that is breakdown of proteins of the extremities. Then there is fat deposition on abdomen and back of the neck So buffalo hump and truncal obesity, again because cortisol causes maldistribution of fat and it also causes increased amount of fatty acid synthesis. Then the purple stria, this will occur because it causes a thinning of the connective tissue, again because it decreases the collagen synthesis. Then GI distress, that is nausea, vomiting will occur because it causes an increased amount of acid synthesis. As we had just read, it decreases the mucus production and increases the acid production in the stomach. In the females, it causes amenorrhea and hirsutism. Hirsutism is excess of fat in unwanted places, like on the face, excess of hair on the unwanted places, like on the face, the amount of hair will increase. So that is known as hirsutism. Then thin skin will be there, bruises and petechiae, because again it decreases the collagen synthesis. Osteoporosis and increased risk of fracture will occur because it causes decreased bone formation and increased bone resorption. So you have to read the functions of cortisol just so that you can explain the features that you see in Cushing's disease. So this is just so that you can remember that in the Cushing's disease there is appearance of lemon over matchstick. That is, face is moon-like and the extremities are very thin. Face and truncal obesity is there, so face is moon-like and the extremities are very thin. So this is lemon over matchstick appearance. This is pictures of a patient suffering from Cushing's disease. As you can see, the face is moon-like. Then purple stria present on the abdomen also and on the arms also. There is truncal obesity. As you can see, the abdomen is increased in size. Then D diagram shows buffalo hump. That is, there is excess of fat deposition on the back of the neck, which has resulted in the formation of a buffalo hump. Yes. So diagnosis is by seeing the increased level of plasma cortisol, and then there is failure to suppress cortisol secretion by dexamethasone. So dexamethasone is an exogenous steroid. So if you give steroid from outside, you know that there is suppression of cortisol from the body. So this will not occur in case of Cushing's disease when the cause is non-iatrogenic. So to distinguish the ACTH dependent and ACTH independent, so plasma ACTH level at 8 a.m. is increased in the pituitary causes, that is ACTH dependent Cushing's disease, but it is undetectable in ACTH independent. So as you know that level of cortisol and ACTH are highest in the morning between 6 to 8 a.m. But at 8 a.m., that is after that peak level, it starts reducing. So if the cause is ACTH dependent, then the level of ACTH will be increased even after that time, but it will be undetectable in cases of ACTH independent Cushing's disease. Then ACTH level following corticotropin releasing hormone stimulation. So CRH increases the level of ACTH normally, and also in ACTH dependent, the increased ACTH will occur, but there will be no change in the level of ACTH in case of ACTH independent Cushing's disease. Then we give the metyrapone, which is a type of inhibitor for the steroid synthesis, and hence cortisol will not be produced. That is the last step of the formation of cortisol will not occur. So hence the level of cortisol, that is 11-deoxycortisol, will be reduced in cases of ACTH dependent causes, because it is inhibiting the synthesis of steroid or the cortisol, and we know that ACTH is required for the cortisol synthesis. So if this ACTH action is blocked by giving this drug metyrapone, so the level of cortisol will reduce in ACTH dependent causes, but there will be no change in ACTH independent, because this is occurring directly in the adrenal gland. So treatment is either you surgically dissect the tumor, or you give radiation in case of adenoma or adrenal carcinoma, or you give drugs that block the steroid synthesis like metyrapone or ketoconazole. Now, these drugs inhibit ACTH secretion like serotonin antagonist and GABA transaminase inhibitor. So in case of ACTH dependent for Cushing syndrome, you can either give the drugs that block the steroid synthesis or drugs that inhibit ACTH secretion. Next. Now, Addison's disease, it occurs when there is deficiency of adrenal hormones. So, Addison's disease mainly is not related just to cortisol. It covers whole of the adrenal cortex. So, there will be deficiency of aldosterone also, cortisol also, and other sex steroids also. So, it is an autoimmune disease which is causing adrenal cortex atrophy. Then it can occur because of any tubercular infection, fungal and CMV infection also, amyloidosis, and secondary metastasis can also result in Addison's disease. So these are the features of Addison's disease. Since here the amount of cortisol is less, so the glucose level will be less, so there will be hypoglycemia. Blood pressure will not be maintained properly, so there will be postural hypotension. That is, as soon as the patient will get up from the sitting or lying position to the standing position, there will be dizziness because the blood pressure will not be maintained. Then bronze pigmentation of the skin. The pigmentation of the skin will occur because now the ACTH will act like melanocyte stimulating hormone, because the cortisol production is not occurring, but there is excess amount of ACTH in the body, so it will start stimulating the melanocytes, and these melanocytes will result in pigmentation of the skin. So there will be changes in the distribution of body hair also. Then anorexia, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. All these GI disturbances will occur. There will be weakness and there will be weight loss. So these are the features seen in Addison's disease. So this diagram is mainly to show the different pigmentation which is occurring. So different pigmentation due to stimulation of melanocytes can occur on arms, on trunk, on back, even on teeth. So even the teeth can be pigmented because of the Addison's disease. So if you treat a patient for pigmentation of teeth, then you should be careful that it can be because of Addison's disease also. So diagnosis, plasma cortisol will be decreased, but ACTH will be increased because of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. So there is less amount of cortisol, so it will not be able to act on the anterior pituitary and cause its negative feedback. So ACTH production from the anterior pituitary will increase, and hence there will be increased amount of ACTH.